만드는 과정을 보여드립니다.
Okay. So here we are in the factory of the porcelain fles, and here you can see the daily production of earthenware. It all starts with liquid clay. You can see here. Clay is made liquid by adding water, and then it's poured in a plaster mold like this one. This is the mold for this vase. And because the plaster mold is very porous, it absorbs the water from the clay. That's why the clay dries. The clay dries quicker against the wall of the mold than in the middle. For such a small item, it takes only 10 to 15 minutes, and then there's already a layer of 4 or 5 millimeter thick against the wall of the mold. That's enough. At that moment, the clay in the middle is still liquid and can be poured out. And that's how we get a hollow item. It's not massive because we pour it out. And the vase has to stay in the mold for a few hours to make the clay stronger. It will shrink also. And then it's easy to take it out. There are seams from the mold. And we just polish with water and a sponge. You can see over there all colleagues, not so many colleagues working on this Sunday, but most of the time they have to polish also this. And then it has to dry for a few days. It's important there's no water in it, or less water, because otherwise it will explode in the oven. When it's dry enough, we bake it in one of our 5 ovens. You can see 2 small ones and 3 big ones. Ovens. And the way we put it in on trays, you can see the trays. And it's burned for 20 hours in total, including 10 hours of cooling down. So very slow to 1150 degrees Celsius, a very slow cooling down. And during the firing process, the clay becomes earthenware. So they look the same, but this is clay. It's fragile. Oh, you can take this. Oh, you can already see how fragile it is. By adding water, it could become moldable clay again. But after baking, it's sturdy. It's earthenware. The technical term is biscuit. It's French biscuire. You have to bake it twice. So when it's biscuit, it's taken to the painter to be painted by hand. If I do it this way with that, it will be broken. And after the painting, it's glazed and baked. Or, there's another method. We glaze. We put a transfer on it, this way. And then we bake for the second time, and the deco melts in the glaze. So we made a new official dinnerware for our royal family. Not because it's too expensive to buy hand-painted items for our family, but because they wanted to look every plate exactly the same. So more than 300 plates, they had to look all identically. And when we painted all the plates by hand, they would all look a bit different, because all hand-painted items are unique, of course. So when it has to be exactly the same, we need a transfer. 2 plates. One is made with a transfer and one is painted by hand.
What is the handmade?
What is the hand-painted one? The big one or the small one? Big?
Small.
Small? Small? It's the big one. It's the big one. So you want the coffee? For me, it's always easy. Every hand-painted item after 1879 has the bottle and the JT. So that's the easy part. But there are more shades of blue. It's more vivid, isn't it? And when it's made with a transfer, we have a different trademark. It's the Royal Delft 1653. So you can recognize maybe when you want to shop, in the first section of the shop you'll only find hand-painted items, most of the time. And in the second section, near the window, there are the items made with a transfer, which you can always check. And sometimes the price is also very clear. When it's painted by hand, there's also the initials of the painter. Every artisan signs his or her work. A year code, 2024 is ET, next year will be EU, our alphabet, and an article number. Then I'll show you a cooperation with an artist. So this is on purpose. It's a vase, it's the blown away vase. We make it with an artist. It's called Mooi. It's a cooperation. He painted, he designed this on the computer, and then we have to produce. So then it starts. How do we make a mold? And to get it out again. And how do we paint this? And we make it hand painted, one way, and the other way is with a transfer. But then it's not only one. Then we need 10 different ones. So this is the first one, and every section needs another transfer. And also this is another transfer. So that's not very easy and also time consuming, because you have to make it right. When it's not close enough, you have a wide gap. When it's too close, it's too dark. And when it's not high enough, it won't fit. So that's difficult. But most of the time it's not so difficult to make an item with a transfer, so that's not so expensive. Okay, are there any questions? Then we'll visit Simon. It's one of our 13 painters, please.